Hello, welcome back to Brutalism Live. In this episode, I want to do some kind of explorations and experimental of creating brutalism architecture or form or sculpture using whatever available to you online. Okay, so first we can always Google search. If you have access to libraries, you can search for brutalist architecture or sculpture. And first of all, you will always Google search what is brutalism, architecture, and design, right? You will always search that. That's a typical thing you do, and you can read about it. Like in this case, it says brutalist buildings characterized by minimalist constructions, showcasing the bare building materials, like this kind of beton. And you can also read more about it. Unfinished surface, unusual shapes. It's like a concrete, straight line, small windows. It's very minimalist. What's the purpose? Urgent need for large-scale, affordable residential architecture. I believe brutalism is like it's just use like whatever available and whatever material available, and then just build it without. Sometimes the aesthetics can be a little bit too brutal. Now, if you Google search images, you will see some examples of buildings. We actually have a couple of buildings in Sydney that's actually brutalism as well. Some museum. The old UTS building is also similar to this. It serves its purpose, just like a building. The inside can be looking pretty basic. The outside sometimes just look like a bunch of cubes and primitives. These images are actually real, right? And you can keep searching this and try to replicate this inside Blender using box cutter, grid modeler, whatever available to you. You can also try chatting with AI using, in this case, I'm using ChatGPT. Brutalism, raw, unfinished materials, concrete, brick, steel. Brutalism comes from the French word beton brut, raw concrete. Okay, Le Corbusier, Swiss architect. Minimalist, functionalist. Okay. So you can keep doing this, and 10 famous architecture brutalists. And yeah, the chat GPT will give you some examples, and you can always copy paste into Google search, and you will see like a physical example. This is something that there's a lot like constant repetitions, and you can definitely build this using Boolean inside Blender. It looks simple from the outside. The inside, yes, slightly more complicated once you design the inside, and still it's maintaining its minimalist look. This one is from unprompt.ai. They're probably generated using Midjourney AI, and then you can see endless examples and variations that you can try and build yourself inside Blender. Or if you like me, if you've been following my video, you probably want to also try using Plasticity. If you have access to app that's using SDF volumetric, you can try making this using that app. But for now, I don't. Maybe just use use Plasticity, right? This is a basic random one. You see, originally it was just like random shapes, but plasticity itself has some kind of understanding of placement of objects on top of each other. So you can quickly, make a cut and then, like, or placing objects on top of each other like this. And if you like this, you can just merge them together using Q, tapping Q, and then hopefully they merge into a single object. Select all, Q, 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 and then merge. Hide everything else. So the process can be quite relaxing. So I will show it again from the very beginning. This is like a manual thing, right? You can start with a cube, pushing and pulling the objects. If you want to, you can start with shapes like this, like regular polygon. Let's do this again. I don't know why I'm using pentagon. Or maybe this one too close. You can also use circle, or maybe just square. Right click. So underneath is, on the base, is just like basic structure, basic shapes, but you can see the shapes is responding, and we can just pull it up. So yeah, I thought this is kind of relaxing, like a 3D therapy. Oh, this one supposed to be maybe union. So I just tap Q, and okay, that's probably too strong. Yeah, maybe I don't like that, and just delete it. This curve I can just hide. We end up with this block. Select all, just Q, combine them into a single solid. This will work. Okay, you now you can keep on adding. Okay, if the snapping is too, let's turn off the X-ray mode and then just keep adding some cut. The box cut is probably the most interesting one. Shift B. So I wish the Plasticity have something that's kind of like grid modeler and can quickly make a cut, or like a repetitive cut. You can actually do that. Maybe tap B, keep the tool or T and then right click. So you have this solid, array, right click, you have this bunch of objects, Q, and then click. Right. The cool thing about plasticity, of course, is the ability to quickly select edges. Do that sort of thing. Maybe O for inset. Yeah, and you can just keep going with this. Save. So I don't know if that's still being considered as brutalism or not. Maybe this shape is a little bit unusual, it's a little bit sharp. Just create an inset, make a cut. Yeah, that's a little bit crazy. But okay, you can also use something like, okay, I'm using Chat Forefront AI. This is like ChatGPT, slightly can be faster. It depends, but I asked it to create using Blender Python, create random primitives to create brutalist structure, and it creates the script for me. This one doesn't work because there's this single error. This size equal 1 doesn't work, but somehow if I get rid of that size, it will work. So okay, the script, let me explain a little bit. So it's Blender script. It creates these functions: create brutalist structure, number of objects, minimum scale, minimum and maximum scale with area size. Okay, there's the area size, which is important. The primitive shapes: cube, cylinder, cone, UV, icosphere. I can also add torus, but in this case just leave it as it is. For blah in range, number of objects, pick a random objects with random scale and place it on the area and generate the objects. So I can specify, okay, maybe just 30 objects. And I have endless variations. You can also do the same thing using geometry nodes, right? Just random placement of objects, primitive objects within an area. With a certain algorithm, we don't use the algorithm at the moment, but maybe we can actually add the AI. So using volumetric algorithm, arrange the random shapes better to occupy space. Oh, it's trying to interpret this. I don't know. Random size primitive. Anyhow, with shapes like this, you can always use geometry nodes, turn it into volumetrics, and whatnot. You can always combine them, remesh, but remesh will kind of, yeah, it's merging and meshing everything, but we lost the brutalism. This one, the blocky one, might still maintain the shapes or the bounding box volume. I don't know. Too blocky. Keep it voxel maybe, and convert it. Now you just a matter of how you want to continue with this. Maybe you can use AI, just to interpret this. Okay, this is the depth, and you want to give some texture, or you want to use this as a concept for your actual brutalism architecture. Maybe. Okay, let's try. Let's do a little bit more. Scale, area size 30. Maybe the cone is not great, so I remove the cones. Maybe I don't like the sphere too much, and the icosphere can also disappear. So now it's just a bunch of cylinder and boxes. This part, yeah, you can always modify this. So that might be okay. You can always use the boolean, merge them together. You can use boolean with itself. Maybe if you, yeah, it's possible to actually just do like a boolean that's combining everything, keeping everything clean. Just remesh. Convert into mesh, sculpt mode. Maybe we want to flatten this. Mesh filter, relax, or sharpen. Sharpen might do the job, but yeah, it's become something else. It seems pretty random, but okay, this forefront AI actually is still trying to create something. You need to be on the screen. You need to be on this page for it to actually create something. No, it's just giving the same answer. So yeah, brutalism is I don't know, it's like an endless, it's not really abstract, right? Because you're creating structure. In the end, if it's real architecture building, it needs to stand and serves as something that's functional. If it's like a museum, of course, you can just put whatever in there, painting, but it has like some kind of structure. Okay, this one is a little bit crazy, but it looks real as well. Brutalis intricate architecture with sunset. Okay, this looks really real. You can definitely make that in Blender or Plasticity. This is also random, and normally, okay, the architecture or sculpture needs to be placed in the real world, so the ground definitely need to be considered. If this is like a sense, okay, we need to have like a sense environment, and then we build the architecture on top of that. This one looks like a mesh, but also it has like a structure. And this is the one that's already being generated by other people maybe, or it's, I don't know, it's just endlessly generating things. Giving some examples. Some of them looks really like abstract, but you something, okay, like something like this, the one that you like, I like this one. I found it quite aesthetics. We can definitely build this using Blender or Plasticity. Maybe the angle is kept at 45 degrees, so it's not too crazy. It has the certain aesthetics. Yeah, this one is also pretty crazy. So it's endless, just from the unprompt AI, but you can also use the prompt and then try to build it yourself. Like if you are using Bing AI, image generator, Brutalis architecture, intricate artisans. We can also use Leonardo AI or any kind of AI generated imagery, you know, just try. Brutalism architecture, intricate artisans. I think the windows and the concrete gives that kind of look, and also the primitive shapes and repetition. With Leonardo AI, we are getting this give it negative prompt. This one is probably a little bit too intricate and has a slight gothic look about it. When you see something like this and it's really detailed, would you feel like recreating it inside Blender? Maybe you will. I mean, you need probably spend few hours just creating something like this. It's starting to give like a something that's more like procedural, fractal. This one is really cool, I found. There's some kind of organic shapes. It's not 100% brutalism, but you might be thinking Anthony Yo, Gaudi, Anthony Gaudi, yeah. And this is definitely have a certain aesthetics. It's not brutalism anymore. It's very Gaudi, organic. But you see how the whole process, you know, using AI and how you can get some ideas. This one, yeah, it's actually more like organic. So if you're an architect and you want to build a building, maybe if you have the time and the money, you can build anything, of course, but there's a time constraint usually, and you don't just build anything. But ideally, you know, why not? You can always imagine. You can always imagine that you have unlimited time, unlimited money, just to build whatever. Ideally, right? You can always see. I just do an extrude using E. Make another cut. I'm still treating plasticity just like a polygon modeling, but actually it can do a little bit more. You can actually connect. You can bridge things differently using different operations. Using nerves. It's almost like an endless puzzle. And also one thing that I think this app cannot really do, I don't know. With grid modeler, you can just create a face and then make it rounded. I don't know how to do it using plasticity. I can make a box like this, and I can create a new body. Keep the tool. So I have this body. I can round this. And I can make a cut. This minus this. So I can do it that way. But there's so many ways to do this. And I can still push that. That's kind of cool, that kind of tunnel, and I think that's very, it feels like brutalism. It's very modern, very like a Star Wars kind of thing. You can also do this, which is pretty cool. Push the edge until it snaps. I think if you hold options or something, it will snap to the edge. But we can always arrange this into different angle, you know. So the push and the pull. Let's say I don't like this thickness, I can just push it. Yeah, that's okay. I'm just gonna save this. Okay, this one using blender and random shapes of objects. Because it's totally random, it doesn't feel solid, you know. It's, you still need, okay, look at it. Okay, I think it has potential, but I don't know, it doesn't feel right. Maybe some of the shapes can be simplified. I mean, from the top view it looks really ugly and random, but I think with a trained eyes, you're starting to, okay, you want to make sense of things and organizing the shapes until you look, okay, that looks much better. Maybe you look at it from different view. Maybe it's too meshy, so I need to start to make repetitions. Yeah, I think so. Back to the principle of design, but so if it's a Brutalis buildings, Sydney, you will see, oh, okay, Brutalis architecture, Sydney. This building, UTS building, and also this building. I mean, you can use this as a practice for plasticity. I mean, this shapes is quite beautiful. Definitely try to do that. Yeah, there's actually quite a lot. Even this opera house is almost like Brutalist. You can also maybe using brutalism and then just create like a shape of robots. Maybe that's what I'll do, but I don't know. The correct way to use this idea is to try to recreate the shapes and repetitions and study. That's Australia's ugliest building, the worst eyesores in Australia. That's funny. Look at that. But anyway, that's pretty much what I want to talk about with brutalism. Maybe it's just a matter of actually creating something in the end. You can continue to talk about it. And brutalism is just one of the style of architecture. There's also another thing that I can talk about maybe in the next video. But for now, I think that's pretty much it. So hopefully you find this useful, using AI and whatever available on the internet, and creates whatever buildings. It's a fun things for 3D therapy. If you like to create whatever, Yeah, I don't know why. It's about filling up space and make a. This looks kind of nice. Maybe someone can jump into it and slides. Anyhow, hopefully you find this useful. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.